show, 5-Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Mark. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern. Welcome to a late night episode of Five Stripe Weekly, joined by Mark, and it's a dominating win by Atlanta United, as they should be, I think, taking care of business in the U.S. Open Cup third round against Chattanooga FC, and 6-0. Pretty convincing, I would say, but like I said, it's against a team that we should be beating. This convincing, I think it's a good sign. Would we have bet maybe 6 goals? Probably not. But definitely it was good entertainment, and I think it's something that's sorely been needed from a side that's been struggling to find the back of the net. But yeah, Mark, what were your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I mean, coming off a pretty frustrating draw against Cincinnati, where they actually did create a lot of chances. In fact, it was their highest XG game of the season. And so, I think they got some of that frustration out versus Chattanooga. Unfortunately, they were the ones who were just so happened to be here on the night. But no, I think it was important, I think, for the confidence of the team. I think for the confidence of individuals as well. Like Dwyer, certainly, like to see him. So the header it's a good header. It's a difficult finish. The rocket, of course, is class as well. Good to see Aruju back again. Well, he had an appearance versus Cincy, but he got more time tonight. Scored that beautiful goal. Hernandez got on the score sheet, and I was happy for Gutman as well to, have that moment to get the assist. So, I think overall, yeah, just something that I think the group needed. And I mean, yeah, it's a team, it's an opponent that you should beat, but we've seen some upsets in this round already. We saw some MLS teams go out last night. Charlotte went to extra time with Greenville. So, if you don't take it seriously, I mean, you can get found out. So I'm glad that we, put it away early and then kept going, and I thought Pineda used the match well to, give certain guys minutes. You saw Ibarra play the whole match. Amada came on. Mulroney played the whole match. I mentioned Aruju before. So, Dejan, I think, was first appearance of the season, right? Like, I don't remember seeing him before. So, I think, and like for the goalkeeper, obviously the circumstances in which Shuttleworth's coming in is not ideal, but it's a good first match, I think. One way you wouldn't expect him to get tested too much, but he did have to make a couple saves, and get a little bit comfortable back there. So I think obviously overall positive. 6-0. There's nothing like really negative to talk about in terms of the play anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a pretty flawless night overall. I mean, Shuttleworth, talking about him, I think good to get him a clean sheet in his first start. He did go down well to his right for a save, in the 46th minute in the first half. And, definitely, I think, the goals by not only Hernandez, which he always tries, he pops up in those good spots to score goals for us a lot of times. It's quite good. Also, Marcelino Moreno getting on the score sheet from the penalty. Did seem it's good that he was able to atone for the penalty miss, which I think had a lot to do with Alec Can knowing Marcelino Moreno really, really well from, penalty practice, I'm sure, because that's just how it goes. But Marcelino Moreno taking that penalty, over Dom Dwyer, who was on, a hat trick. I think it's, I guess Marcelino Moreno, he really needed that. And so, that's a good thing, I suppose. And especially when Dom Dwyer, is already on the score sheet a couple times. Like you were saying, really, really good header. To be able to direct that from the front post to the back post is, definitely a skill that's, I think a bit difficult for a lot of players, but he showed some good target forward play, I think, in this match, because he held up the ball well as involving other players. He had the assist for Araujo. And also, Miles Robinson got on the assist part of the sheet as well by assisting Lennon, going on a little bit of a walkabout, and then Lennon with his worm burner. So it was I think all in all, getting those guys on the score sheet definitely, I think, bodes well for the team in building some confidence, getting some momentum kind of going forward. And I think it was very good from Gonzalo Pineda, and being shown in social media, pretty much showing and telling his team that you guys, we have 6 games to play. This could be the first of them, or it could be the last. And I think that's very, very good motivation there. That I think gave some good motivation for the squad. And kind of speaking about that motivation in a way, maybe not a person that's going to be rah-rah, but Miles Robinson wore the armband again, and it's going to be interesting. It seems like he might be the guy going forward. We'll kind of talk a little bit more about it, but he did wear the armband for this match. I think, I had him in the starting 11, but I think it's very interesting. He is very much besides Guzan, he's one of the stalwarts of this club, So,
and I think the club have gone. I think the club have shown us that, really. I think they have maybe not gone to great lengths, but they have done things. So, for example, you can see how Miles is becoming the face of the team, or one of the faces of the team, in terms of the kit reveals, right? He's been in the past couple ones, on the social media posts, on the advertisements, right? You're seeing more and more of him, and also, and I think this is significant to this as well, he's a member of Black Players for Change, and and it's not. There are quite a number of players, but it's not every player necessarily. It's representatives, right? And so I think he does have that bit of maybe experience with leadership, and coming into that as well. I think in general, with the profiles that have been done on his background and his family, right? I think all of that kind of goes into the character that Miles Robinson is, and what makes him, I think, a good choice for captain at this moment in time. You know what I mean? He's been here long enough. He's been a pro for 5 years now. You know what I mean? And so
going on 6. Well, this is his 6th year in that sense, and definitely one of the longest tenured, if not the longest tenured player, because he was drafted in the Super Draft. He was on the team before Brad Guzan, and so a good bit of trivia there as well. So it is, it does make sense to a degree. But before we get into that too much, basically the 6-0 win, expected, but good to see the level of play and them take it seriously. And so it is. It shows that there is some depth in this squad, especially the kind of skill that was on display tonight. Luis Araujo, I think the standout in terms of that class. I think, of course, Thiago Almada looked class as well when he burst past a couple of guys in traffic, and was able to, I think, get a shot off that with his left foot. Also, if he had put that on goal, would have been pretty good. But Araujo, the chip. Yes, of course, that's class. But I was oogling on Twitter about that back heel. That when he's seemingly in trouble, going back towards our goal, and he no look back heel to find Mulroney, spot on pass too. It's
Right.
just a level above. And I mean, Araujo, it's very exciting, to see him back in the squad. He's just like pressing wise, the energy, the work rate. Like,
Yeah.
it's just something that, hopefully he can stay healthy. This guy is just so good. But
He's a game changer for us for sure. Absolutely. Just real quick, no, what I would say, I mean, for players, obviously like Arujo and Almada, like you can't replace them, right? And so obviously, when they go out of the lineup, it does present a challenge for the managers. But I think what we're seeing more of, at least in these past two games, are more of that chemistry that we've been wanting to see, more of that sharp play. There shouldn't be such a drop off when the backups come in, and I think we, like you said, we saw some good play from some players who are not necessarily regulars, and so I think that bodes well, definitely going forward, and really for a U.S. Open Cup run.
Indeed, yeah, because to be able to play on multiple fronts, you need the depth, and it seems like, at the very least in this early round, that we had the goods, so it's good. But definitely something that is of note was the sparse crowd, and guilty. I did not go. Marc did not go, but I think it is. It's very interesting. I think the reasons for a sparse crowd, I mean, it boils down to this. The product for Atlanta United has not been as good. In yesteryear, when in 2017, 2018, 2019, those were definitely, momentum was on the upward trajectory. The pandemic definitely has something to do with, I think,
Yep.
I think people started to prioritize things. So,
Yeah.
it is one of those things where this weekday match in yesteryear would have been pretty packed. It's pretty lackluster crowd tonight. What are your thoughts on why it was so sparse?
Yeah, I mean, so like, I think like the surface level, arguments for that, right? So, it's a weeknight driving up to Kennesaw. I mean, like that's one of the main reasons why I didn't go. Is just driving up to Kennesaw and back on a weeknight would be hell. And then some other personal reasons as well. But yeah, I mean, I have to agree that the product isn't quite what it was in 2018. And honestly, like the overall atmosphere, enthusiasm around the team is definitely not what it was 4 years ago. And I'm sure there are different reasons for that as well. And I think it should be noted that league-wide, all right, TV ratings, crowds haven't really been quite at what they were pre-pandemic. Now, of course, you have so like Charlotte's New, for example, right? And so they're doing well in that regard. It's in that sense, it's fresh there. But in other cities, I mean, even newer ones like Atlanta United or maybe LAFC, like it doesn't seem like the crowds are quite there. So I think there's a number of reasons as to why the crowd was so sparse. I was surprised at how sparse it was. As a friend pointed out on Twitter, like, in the past, a lot of people from surrounding areas, from Kennesaw and other areas that are close by, would usually make it a point to come out to a match at Fifth Third Bank because maybe that's closer than Mercedes-Benz, but it's obviously that did not come into fruition. So I mean, I think for a number of reasons, interest across the board is down, and so I think the crowd tonight is just a reflection of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a microcosm, I think, like you're saying. I think one of the biggest things is how crappy the TV deal is.
Oh, God.
For most of the clubs in MLS. And when they're not even helping themselves, it basically makes it very, very difficult. Like, most of the fans cannot watch the game. Most of the fans were wondering where it was. That was one of the first questions on social media that I was answering all night. So, like, if I have to play basically the person that is essentially marketing the the product to the fans, there's a problem. So,
I mean, it's literally easier for me to watch every Premier League team than it is my local MLS team. That doesn't make sense, dog.
Yeah, it is perplexing. It's something that they need to fix. I plead with them to fix it, and yeah, I mean, they can't do it soon enough. Like, it's just straight up. Like, if it happened tomorrow, I would still be like, what took you so long? But
right.
But anyway, so we'll move on. Good results. Definitely good performance. It's taken with a grain of salt. But, you know, use that momentum, bring it to the next match, which is Sunday against Inter Miami FC, or CF rather. And we'll have that preview for you later on in this episode. But into the news. So Brad Guzan, he did have surgery tonight, or today rather, earlier today on Wednesday. And he said on Instagram and Twitter, he said, "Step 1 to fix my Achilles is now done, and my recovery starts now. Thank you for all the messages of love and support, and just know I will come back from this. Thank you to Dr. Simbas and everyone at Piedmont Health for your care." And so, yes, definitely speedy recovery to Guz. Yeah, definitely would like to see him come back from this and not end his career on something like, you know, it's just very saddening. But, yeah, getting into that armband talk. So Gonzalo Pineda, that he said, so Miles Robinson, he wore the armband tonight, but for all intents and purposes, Brad Guzan is still the captain. And he still will be in the locker room at matches and will be a key part of the culture of the team. I mean, he does also coach the unified team as well. He is a big part of this whole club. And this was this tweet, at least, was courtesy of Sydney Hunt. But yeah, he also added that Robinson's longevity with the club, along with his U.S. men's national team experience, played into his selection as captain tonight, along with his reliability and work ethic. He said, quote, "The fans feel represented by their captain." And center back Alex DeJohn, he also said that Miles Robinson's reaction to being named captain before the match was essentially, "All right, let's go." He said, "He's not a man of many words, but he's a leader by example. You just vibe off his energy on the field." Yeah, definitely. You know, Miles Robinson isn't known for a ton of words, isn't known for a guy that's, you know, kind of inspiring others by his speeches or anything like that. But maybe this is a step in that direction. Maybe it's getting him to think in that mode. So, you know, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, a locker room has multiple leaders, you know what I mean? And so, you know, the captain isn't like the be all and end all of that. And so, yeah, of course, like I would assume that like of the leaders in the locker room, you have Miles, Joseph when he's, you know, available. Of course, we know Guzan, you know, is Sosa perhaps, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, you know, like I think that, yeah, you know, he doesn't have to. Yeah, obviously, like there's room for him to grow, you know, especially, you know, as a person, there's always room to grow. But, you know, he doesn't have to wholesale change necessarily to be something that he's not for, you know, to wear the armband. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, I think it's in good hands.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, you know, Bobby Shuttleworth as well as a player that has a lot of veteran experience. Of course, Alex DeJohn, he's played around the league and in Europe. There are other guys that have the, I think maybe the leadership skills vocally to be able to offset more Miles Robinson's kind of lead by example type of, you know, the way that he would probably wear this armband. But moving on from that, on Ozzie Alonso, anyway, he posted on Instagram saying, "Week 1 after the surgery, the knee looks fine," with a little like okay, or I guess okay emoji. So knee looks okay. But yeah, I mean, he basically 1 week after that, he looks like he's in good spirits. So, you know, definitely I think it's a good sign. One of those where I'm not sure we saw that after Joseph Martinez. To be fair, after he got his surgery, so it is a good sign that he did already post something on social media. So
Right.
hopefully that he's feeling good. It seems like he is, but. That's it for the news, and it gets us to the match preview. And Sunday at Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. It's the 24th at 1 p.m. It's a very early kickoff, probably one of the earliest that I think we've almost ever had. Have we ever had a noon kickoff? I don't think we have, but
I don't think so.
But this is hella early, and yeah, I guess. Well, the rest of the day, I guess, to do other things. What are those? What are those other things besides Atlanta United, right? What? But I joke. But in terms of Inter Miami, they have made a lot of moves, wholesale moves even. But Blaise Matuidi, he was pretty much kind of paid not to be on the team, essentially. And so there's that. Rodolfo Pizarro, he also left. Lewis Morgan, he was shipped off. LGP, he was also shipped off on loan anyway to River Plate, of course playing with Ezequiel Barco, and yeah, other players including Nico Figal, Julian Carranza, Kelvin Leardom, Christian McCurry, Ryan Shawcross. I mean, they house cleaned like crazy. And but they did bring in Jean Mota, Leonardo Campagna, and then of course DeAndre Yedlin, who is a guy that I think if you're familiar with MLS and the U.S. men's national team, you definitely know this fullback. And, I mean, yeah, he apparently has been playing pretty decently for them as well. But, yeah, they're on a little bit of a run. 3 wins in a row, beating New England Revolution, Seattle Sounders, and Miami FC in the U.S. Open Cup on Tuesday. So I think it's time for us to ruin their run and basically put them in their place, because their place in the standings so far is pretty low. And, they are on a good run, but it doesn't mean they won't run into a buzzsaw in LA United. But it is hopefully the case that it can happen. But yeah, there is the thing where, they still do have Gonzalo Higuain. So he will be a dangerous player for them. Probably their most dangerous player, I would say, that, in the lineup. But, do you have any thoughts on this project so far, Inter Miami? And it's just kind of comedy, obviously, because they've been billed, largely off of them being David Beckham's team, and they have not lived up to the potential.
Yeah, where is this game being played? Fort Lauderdale? First and foremost, right? And that's not a surprise. It's not, despite MLS wanting a team to be in Miami and New York for that matter, it's always going to be difficult. And so there's that, right? The roster build has been a joke. I mean, the fact that all those players you named, especially Pizarro and Blaise Matuidi, they were big time acquisitions, and for them to not even last a year, essentially. I mean, basically 1 season, and then you're redoing the whole thing. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's just such a. I think it is a poor reflection on the league a bit as well. Especially they definitely forced this through a bit, and now I'm looking at this lineup. I don't even recognize these guys except for Higuain and Yedlin. They stay. I mean, they had 1 point before their last 2 wins, right? So they had 1 point from their first 4 or 5 matches. That's awful. No, man.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I of course, I have a small affinity for Kieran Gibbs, of course, him being a former Arsenal player. But otherwise, I mean, it's one of those things where Gibbs is done, unfortunately too. So that's why he's there. It's definitely like they are. I believe anyway. They're using an international spot on Kieran Gibbs.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yep, not wise, and that's why most of the predictions, at least writer-wise around MLS, has them finishing maybe as high as 8th, but definitely 13th, near the wooden spoon, essentially. And yeah, hopefully we can ruin this good run that they're on. But let's get into our starting 11 that might ruin their run here, hopefully. But, of course, now it's Shuttleworth in between the sticks. And who do you got for that back line?
Yeah, I got Lennon, Robinson, Campbell, and Gutman. Lennon's been the starter right back for the past few league matches, and so I expect that to continue. Campbell as well. I mean, he's been getting the call from Pineda. Last match, versus Cincinnati, had a couple of shaky moments, but I guess it's possible that Franco starts. There's always a possibility, but I think he'll roll with Campbell for this one, and I mean, no reason for Goodman to be dropped. Another solid performance tonight. Definitely first choice left back.
Mm-hmm. In terms of Wiley, in terms of some of the other players, in terms of Conway as well, why they weren't involved in this match, they apparently trained separately, and so Gutman was maybe a surprise, but he did play very well, as he always does, I think, so far. And, played a majority of the match. Now, Campbell, I think also likewise will get the start over Franco because of the slight, maybe, injury to Alan Franco that he's still coming back from. But, add the same back line into midfield. Sosa didn't start, so I think he will get the nod here. Ibarra played the full 90, so highly unlikely he would. Sejdic did come off early, and especially with our lack of midfielders, I don't think Hyman's going to start, even though he played a little bit. Like, it's it's a big ask for him to have just come back from the ACL injury to start this match, I think. So I think Sejdic does persist as the other midfielder. What about you?
Yeah, I have the same, and I guess we have the same shape of 4-2-3-1. But with that in mind, I think that Sosa and Sejdic makes sense as the pairing. Obviously, they'll do the double pivot, protect the back four, especially on the road. It's going to be important. Yeah,
because Matheus Hasetu, pretty much with that hamstring strain, not sure about the grading of that strain yet, but I would imagine the same timeline for Luis Araujo would be the same for Hasetu. But speaking of Araujo, anyway, I think he starts at right wing for us. Do you think so too?
Yeah, I do. He has a couple appearances under his belt, got about half an hour tonight. I think he may get about an hour on Sunday, but I think we want to see, and getting to the other midfielders, we both have Moreno and Almada being that sort of band of three, and I think we want to see them play together, quite honestly. I think Pineda probably wants to see them play together because individually, they've all been pretty solid to pretty good so far, and so you would imagine anyway that them playing together would unlock the potential of all of them. But who knows? I mean, there could be some chemistry things to work out as well. A lot of times when you have multiple attacking midfielders on the field, they can get in each other's way a little bit. So. But I hope that's the lineup we see, and I'm very curious to see how it works.
Definitely. Like you said, we both have all three of them in the attacking midfielders position. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see where they interchange, how they combine, because they all have a moment of magic in them. They're all very, very skilled players. It's just a matter of how can they be cohesive as a unit. Araújo, I think, definitely always leads that press. Almada also is a player that is willing to run. And so, yeah, it's on Marcelino Moreno as well. His work rate's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's one of those where, how can they kind of unlock these defenses that they're playing against, especially against I think a team that we can kind of go at in Inter Miami. It will be very, very interesting because as well, we have a willing and able runner up top in Ronaldo Cisneros. This is going to be very tasty, I feel like, to see how they can all play together, starting them all off, and it's going to be fun, I think. Balls over the top, balls in behind. I mean, Dom Dwyer, he got a brace tonight, but yeah, I think Ronaldo Cisneros showed that more dynamic ability a little bit. But, if Dom Dwyer is firing as well, like I won't really mind. Whomever starts up top, if they can score the goals, who cares?
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. I think it does, and I talk about this all the time. But with the striker position, it is more than the goals. I mean, that's the main thing. But I mean, do you see even teams that the way their center forward doesn't do that much to the scoring? And at the end of the day, you have the DPS in Araújo and Almada and former DP Moreno. In theory, they could carry the sort of the scoring load and goal creating load. So it's just needing your forward to chip in and also sort of have make those correct runs, have that movement be available for
bring others into the game.
Yeah.
Also a la Liverpool in a sense.
Exactly.
Letting the wide forwards maybe carry the scoring load, but also I mean, I think there's more to our play that can improve. Definitely that one-touch play, playing faster, playing quickly. I think that's a lot of the knock against Marcelino Moreno is, of course, people are talking about him playing with his head down, not looking for the open man, being maybe too selfish around the box or outside of the box. But yeah, I think with more coaching, with more just instructions on hey, this is what we need from you guys, I think this is a very, very tasty proposition that we might be able to see for the first time all three together in this next match. So definitely very excited for that. But let's get into our score predictions then. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, I know I just talked a lot of shit about Miami, but I don't know. The games between Atlanta and Miami are just weird, right? It really is one of those where the form almost doesn't matter. It tends to be cagey. There tends to be some smash and grab. It's almost kind of like Chelsea versus Arsenal. I'm still very annoyed about that result. They were controlling the play, and then just Arsenal smash and grab, man. No, but it's I have a feeling that I think that we can create the chances, especially if the lineup that we think will start does start. But in terms of finishing, I'm not sure if we'll beat it in this game, so I have 1-1 as a final result. Because I just get the feeling that Pineda would take a point on the road in this one.
Yeah. And, one of those, hopefully, that doesn't happen. I think that's, maybe our first goal is maybe a goal from a center half. And that starts off the scoring for the match. And, Inter Miami, they find another one to level it. But we're able to find the goods and get a 2-1 win. I think, we can walk away from Drive Pink Stadium with the 3 points. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. But that pretty much does it for the episode, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day comes from Twitter user Jolly Zay. He says, is it time to begin considering that Araujo may be the best player in Atlanta United's history and maybe a top 3 player in the league? He's looked effortlessly elite so far. I think maybe it's a little early to maybe talk about that per se, but an interesting question nonetheless. So we put it to you fans. I'll let you, Mark, answer that real quick if you have thoughts. Seems like you do.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but certainly one player who would have a shout for best player in LA United history scored a wonder goal today for Newcastle. And so I understand where he's coming from, and I do think that's kind of the bar is Almiron. Is Araujo as good as Almiron? I think I have to go with Almiron right now.
Ooh, very, very interesting. So yeah, I'll reserve my thoughts until maybe another time. But guys, let us know in those comments below what you think. Should definitely conjure up some interesting conversation. But guys, that is the episode. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching.